You probably thought it was just a coincidence. That glance she threw your way, the slight smile, like that moment when you walked into the room and she looked down immediately, pretending not to notice you, but her fingers nervously played with her necklace. You told yourself, she's just being polite, right? But here's the brutal truth. Women are masters at hiding their attraction. And most guys, they never catch the signals. What you think is shyness is actually a quiet, burning desire she's desperately trying to suppress. And the worst part? You've probably missed it before. So the real question is, have you already been the man she wanted most without even knowing it? Comment below with the last time you noticed one of these subtle signals if you've ever felt this but weren't sure. Drop it in the comments. And trust me, stay till the end. The last signal? It's the one almost no man recognizes. And it changes everything. You walk into the cafe, the air just slightly cooler than you expected. You glance up, not for anyone in particular, but then you see her. She's seated by the window, scrolling through her phone, the glow of the screen soft on her face. And just as your eyes move past her, she looks up. For less than a second, your eyes meet, just barely, and then she drops her gaze, like it burned her. You probably didn't think much of it. Just a random glance, right? Maybe she was just checking who walked in. Maybe she was bored. Maybe she didn't even really notice you. But here's what you missed. That look, that single moment, it wasn't random, Dot. It was chosen, Dot. It was calculated. In the most subtle way, a woman can communicate interest without ever having to say a word. Because unlike men, who often lead with directness, women test the waters with glances. Brief, fleeting, and perfectly deniable. But very, very intentional, Dot. You see, when a woman looks at you for just long enough that your brain goes, wait, did that just happen? That's not an accident. That's attraction testing your awareness. She's not looking at you, so you chase her. She's looking at you to see if you notice her. And what you do next, Dot, most guys don't even catch it. They keep walking. They bury their focus back in their phone. Or worse, they look away instantly, not wanting to creep her out. But not you. You're the kind of guy who notices, who slows down that moment just long enough to read between the lines. Because here's the truth. The glance that lingers too long is not a signal for you to pounce. It's a doorway. One she cracked open just wide enough to see if you're confident enough to walk through, Dot. And the tension in that moment? That slight electricity in your chest when you lock eyes, even for a second? That's primal. That's what she's hoping you felt. Let me tell you a quick story. He walks into a late-night coffee shop, hoodie half sipped, headphones still around his neck. She's at the back table, pretending to read a book, but hasn't turned the page in 5 minutes. He orders, turns around. Their eyes meet, and she looks down, cheeks slightly flushed. He pauses for a beat too long. That pause is everything, because in that second, she wonders, did he feel it too? Next time this happens, and it will, don't be the guy who looks away, afraid to believe it was real. Hold the gaze for just a second longer than comfort allows. Smile, not cocky, just knowing, then let it go. Like it was nothing, like you weren't fazed. But in that tiny moment, you leave a mark. She'll feel it later. Wonder about it tonight, and suddenly, you're in her head. Because the man who sees what most others miss is the man she remembers. It's a crowded room. Music hums low in the background, voices overlapping in a soft blur. You're standing near the kitchen at a house party, leaning casually against the counter, half listening to your friend tell some half-funny story. And then you feel it, a brush against your arm. Light, barely there. You glance to the side. It's her. She's laughing as she moves past you, hand grazing yours just enough to register, but not enough to demand attention. You probably tell yourself it was nothing. She just needed to get by. The space was tight, right? She probably didn't even notice. But let me ask you something. Ever wonder why she didn't pull away immediately? Why, out of all the space she could have used, she chose to lean in right there, close enough to let the air shift between you? Because here's what's happening. Women communicate with touch more subtly than words. It's primal, instinctive. A woman's touch, especially those faint, lingering ones, isn't about accidental contact. It's about testing proximity. It's her way of sending a signal that's safe, deniable, but potent to you. It feels random, but in her mind, it's a risk disguised as coincidence. She's thinking, will he notice? Will he pull away? Or will he lean in? That brief touch? It's her way of saying, I'm comfortable here. Are you? Here's a little story to make it crystal clear. At another party, he's leaning against the doorframe, watching the room, drink in hand. She walks by once, shoulder brushing his lightly. No reaction. 5 minutes later, she returns. This time, her fingertips trace across his lower back as she laughs with a friend, acting like she didn't even notice. Twice. Now, most guys would freeze, overthink it, retreat into their head, and convince themselves they imagined it. But you're not most guys. You recognize it. The accidental touch that wasn't accidental at all. Here's what you do next time. When she leans in close, don't stiffen up. Don't shift away. Instead, subtly lean back just enough to see if she closes the distance again. If she does, you've just unlocked her intent. It's not about being aggressive. It's about reading the dance, the push and pull, the rhythm of her comfort. And when you pass that test, when you hold your ground, calm and unbothered, she feels it. Because confidence isn't loud in those moments. It's quiet, certain, unshakable. Most guys freeze when this happens, but not you. Now, you'll recognize it for exactly what it is. Her signal that you're the man. She's already chosen to lean toward. It always starts the same way. You're sitting across from her at the bar, the low amber lights casting soft shadows on her face. You crack a joke. It's not even your best work, honestly. It was barely a joke at all. Just some offhand comment about the bartender's hairstyle or the weird music choice. The kind of thing you'd say without thinking. But then, she laughs. Not just a polite chuckle. She leans in. Her eyes sparkle. Her laugh lingers just a second longer than necessary. And in your head, you think, wait, that wasn't that funny. And you're right. Because here's the hidden truth most men miss entirely. A woman's laughter isn't always about the words you say. It's about the way you make her feel. She's not laughing because of your joke. She's laughing because of you. It's emotional alignment. It's chemistry in motion. That laugh, it's a release of tension. A signal that she feels safe letting her guard down around you, even if just for a moment. You see, women don't laugh openly around guys they're uncomfortable with. Laughter is vulnerability. It's her way of leaning into your energy, letting herself enjoy your presence. But here's the contrast most guys never see. You think she's just being polite, just laughing to fill the silence. You tell yourself, she must do this with everyone. But look closer. Notice the way her eyes lock onto yours as she laughs. The way she leans forward slightly, closing that invisible space between you. The way her voice softens after, like she's waiting for your next move. Let me paint the picture for you. He's telling her a story at a rooftop bar. Something ridiculous about a failed vacation. He fumbles the punchline halfway through, laughing at himself. She laughs anyway. Full, bright, and unrestrained. But she's not laughing at the story. She's laughing at the comfort. At the shared moment. At the way he's not afraid to just be himself. And that right there, that's gold. So next time it happens, next time she laughs a little too easily, a little too brightly, don't rush past it. Don't dismiss it. Instead, Lower your voice just slightly. Slow your words. Watch what she does next. If she leans in, if her pupils widen, if her laughter softens into a smile that lingers, you've just crossed an invisible line. You've sparked the kind of attraction that isn't loud, but deep. And here's the best part. You didn't have to be the funniest guy in the room. You just had to make her feel something. That's what most men never understand, but you do now. You probably never noticed it before, but she did. There's this strange little moment, subtle enough to slip past most men. You take a sip of your drink. Seconds later, she does the same. You lean back slightly in your chair. A heartbeat later, she shifts her posture too, mirroring you. Coincidence? Not even close. This is where her subconscious betrays her. You see, women mirror the body language of men they feel connected to. It's not a tactic. It's not a game. It's primal. It's called rapport mirroring, and it happens automatically. When her guard drops and attraction takes over, her body starts to sync with yours before her mind even catches up. Here's the crazy part. When you notice it, it's almost like unlocking a secret layer of reality most guys never even knew existed. Picture this. He's sitting across from her at a quiet little Italian restaurant. Dim lights, soft music, the low murmur of conversation around them. He leans forward just a little, resting his elbows on the table as he speaks. Seconds later, she does the exact same thing, leans forward, eyes locked on him, lips slightly parted. She doesn't even realize she's doing it, but he does. And here's where the emotional contrast kicks in. He thinks she's just getting comfortable. He tells himself she must be relaxed around everyone, but in her mind, she's already drawn toward him. Her body is matching his because it craves that connection. It's a psychological reflex that says, I'm with you. I'm following your lead. And here's the beautiful irony. This kind of mirroring usually goes unnoticed by her. But once you notice it, everything changes. Because now you're playing on an entirely different level. You're tuned into the signals behind the words, the hidden conversations beneath the surface. Most guys miss this completely. But you won't anymore. So here's what you do. Next time, you notice her subtly, copying your movements, crossing her legs when you do, tilting her head in the same direction. Don't react immediately. Stay calm. Stay centered. Then, deliberately shift your body language. Lean back slowly, take a sip of your drink, or subtly reposition your hands. Watch closely. If she mirrors you again, even unconsciously, you've just confirmed in her mind and body are synced with yours. That's a green light most men never see. And here's the move that sets you apart. Once you notice it, smile ever so slightly. Hold her gaze a second longer than usual. Let her feel that subtle electricity build. She sense it, even if she can't explain why. Because what she feels in that moment is emotional safety, intrigue, and attraction all tangled together. You're no longer just the guy sitting across from her. You're the guy who leads without saying a word. And she keep following. It always slips in quietly. 1 minute, you're making small talk work, movies, random stuff. It's casual, light, surface level. You're not thinking much of it. But then, out of nowhere, she asks something that catches you completely off guard. So, what scares you the most? It's sudden, direct, a little too personal for how early this conversation is. You pause, unsure how to answer. And that's exactly the point. Because here's what most men don't realize. When a woman starts asking you deep, vulnerable questions, it isn't just curiosity. It's attraction. It's emotional investment. This isn't random. It's her subconscious way of testing your emotional availability, of peeling back your layers to see who you really are beneath the surface. Let me paint the picture. You're sitting across from her at a quiet dinner. The music is soft, the lights low. She leans in slightly, resting her chin on her hand, watching you carefully. Then she drops it. Tell me something about your childhood. Her tone is playful, but her eyes are serious. You think she's just making conversation, maybe filling the silence. But here's what's really happening. She's probing. She's emotionally qualifying you, subtly checking if you're capable of intimacy, depth, and self-awareness. She's asking herself silently, is this the kind of man who can open up? Or is he just another surface-level guy? And here's the thing. Most men stumble here. They either overshare, spilling everything in a nervous flood, or they shut down, brushing it off with humor or deflection. Neither works. But you're going to handle it differently. When she asks these questions that feel too deep, too fast, you don't flinch. You answer with just enough honesty to intrigue her, but not so much that you surrender all your mystery. Then, you flip it. You ask her a slightly deeper question back. If she bites, if she lights up, leans in and starts revealing her own layers, congratulations. You've just sparked something rare. You've shown her you're not afraid of depth. You're not scared of emotional intimacy, but you also don't hand it out freely. And in that moment, you become the man who doesn't just attract her physically, but pulls her and emotionally. So the next time she asks something that feels too personal, don't get defensive. Don't laugh it off. Answer calmly, honestly. Then invite her to step deeper with you. Because women don't ask these questions casually. They ask them when they're already wondering what it would feel like to belong in your world. And now, she's starting to see you as the man who could change everything. It always happens when you least expect it. You're talking, laughing, sharing a vibe that feels electric. And then suddenly, her mood shifts. She makes an offhand comment about all the girls you must be talking to. Or she playfully teases you about some girl who smiled at you earlier. At first, you think it's nothing, just banter. Light teasing, but there's something else under the surface, isn't there? Because here's what's really happening. She's testing you. Women do this unconsciously, without even realizing why. It's a subtle jealousy test, a way for her to gauge your social value. And more importantly, where she stands in your world. It's not about controlling you. It's about clarity. Let me drop you into the scene. You're at a party, standing in the kitchen, drink in hand. She's next to you, clearly enjoying herself. Another woman walks by, flashing you a smile. As she passes, you barely register it. You didn't even smile back, but she noticed. Minutes later, she throws it out casually. Wow, you must have girls lining up for you. She laughs, but her eyes are watching closely. You probably think she's just messing around. Maybe she's trying to be funny. Maybe she's a little insecure. But here's the truth. She's not teasing you for no reason. She's watching your reaction. Do you deny it desperately? Do you puff up and brag? Or do you stay calm, centered, unfazed? Because the man who handles this moment with quiet confidence, without defensiveness, without ego, is the man she can't stop thinking about. That's the emotional contrast here. You think she's being cold, pulling away, maybe even pushing you towards someone else. But in reality, she's staking her claim in the most subtle way possible. And here's where you turn the tables. When she tests you like this, don't take the bait. Instead, let a slight, knowing smile creep across your face. Hold eye contact for just a second. Too long. Then respond playfully but grounded. Something like, maybe, but I'm pretty selective. And then change the subject smoothly, as if it doesn't even rattle you. In that moment, she feels it. The weight of your certainty, the unshakable energy of a man who doesn't need to explain himself. And suddenly, her test backfires. Because now, she's the one chasing you. Here's the secret most guys don't know. Only high-value men trigger this test in the first place. If she's trying to provoke a jealous response from you, it's because she already sees you as someone valuable enough to compete for. So don't fall into the trap of over-explaining or trying to reassure her. Let her feel the quiet tension. Stay calm, smile, shift the conversation. Because in her mind, she'll be replaying that moment all night, wondering why her test didn't work, wondering why you're the only man she can't seem to shake. It always hits you in those quiet, unexpected moments. Maybe you're sitting together on a park bench, the sun fading behind the trees, shadows stretching slowly across the grass. The air is quiet now, filled with the gentle hum of twilight. You're talking about something random, your day, your plans, anything to keep the silence comfortable. Then suddenly, she pauses. Her voice softens. Her eyes glance away, flickering downward, as if deciding whether to speak or hold back. Then, quietly, she tells you something raw, something deeply personal. Maybe it's about her fears, a dream she's never admitted out loud, or a secret worry she carries but hides from everyone else. And in that instant, something shifts between you. But here's the catch. You might think she's just venting, unloading her thoughts onto whoever will listen. Maybe you tell yourself she's simply emotional, sharing this with anyone who might offer comfort. But here's the truth most men never understand. Women don't reveal their vulnerabilities to just anyone. They don't pull back the curtain of their inner world casually. When she shares something deeply personal, especially something she's never mentioned to anyone else, it's intentional. It's powerful. And it means she's chosen you, specifically, to trust. This isn't random emotional oversharing. It's selective vulnerability, the ultimate, most intimate sign of attraction and connection. Why you? Because you're the man she sees as strong enough to handle it. She sees you as safe, not just physically, but emotionally. She's handing you her hidden truths, almost as if quietly saying, I trust you to see this part of me and not run. And that trust, it's rare. It's precious. Imagine this clearly for a moment. You're sitting together late at night, alone beneath the soft glow of a street lamp. The conversation was playful at first, casual, easy. But then her voice shifts. Her eyes lose their guard. And she reveals something quietly devastating, a fear she's carried silently for years. Maybe it's insecurity about her career, doubts about herself, or a story from her past she rarely ever shares. As she speaks, you can feel her vulnerability in the air, fragile, yet powerful. And right, there's where most guys make their biggest mistake. They rush to fix it. They offer solutions, advice, platitudes, trying to make her feel better instantly. But you're not most guys. Here's exactly what you do instead. You hold the space. You listen. Really listen. You acknowledge what she shared. You remind her, subtly yet powerfully, that she's brave for telling you this. You don't try to fix her. You simply show her that you see her fully and you accept her completely. Because that's exactly what she's hoping for, even if she never says it. She chose you for this moment precisely because you're the man who doesn't shrink away from emotional depth. You don't flinch at her honesty, and that quiet strength, it's irresistible. When a woman shares her vulnerability with only you, it's the deepest sign of emotional intimacy imaginable. She's handed you the keys to her inner world. And if you hold them with respect, calmly, confidently, she won't just see you as the man she wants. She sees you as the man she's already chosen. Because when a woman shares vulnerability, you've already won her heart. Most men never understand this, but now you do. The 7 subtle signals she's already chosen you. She glances, then quickly looks away. She accidentally touches you repeatedly. She laughs too easily at your jokes. She mirrors your movements unconsciously. She asks personal, emotionally charged questions. She subtly tests you with jealousy. She shares vulnerabilities exclusively with you. Now, you'll notice these moments clearly. And when you do, you'll know exactly where you stand. Because you're not just any guy. You're the one she wants most.